I can't even remember sometimes to do real basic things. Now, what do you guys see right now? The test?
You. We see you.
Okay, so we got to get through this monkeying around again. Okay, so let me try to share. I'm going to try to unshare my screen and share it again. So now you see us, right? Okay, let me go back and share.
Sorry, you guys.
Are you guys seeing my desktop?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Okay. This is the only thing that's not real smooth when I'm on a park bench. Okay, do you guys see now a sheet that says questions?
Mm-hmm.
How about the rest of you? Can you
I
see?
see it.
You do?
Yes.
I see it.
Okay, good. Thank you, guys. So here's our, I guess we've already gone through the questions. Okay, so here's what chapter 3 is. Now in your books, I would suggest here's a time to start a new page. Okay, so chapter 3, the title, again, nice one-word title, logic. You don't need to do, don't worry about this stuff over here. We'll get to that as we go. But right now, chapter 3, logic. Okay, new page. And I want to just introduce things a little bit here. So, logic, ironically, means word. And so you're probably thinking, wait a minute, this is a math class? What in the world are we doing a chapter about word? Well, you'll see there's a real connection between precision in words and logic. So Wisconsin Lutheran College is a liberal arts college, and originally there were 7 liberal arts. I'm going to have to scroll to show you these. You can see they were grammar, logic, rhetoric, arithmetic, music, geometry, and astronomy. You see how many of those are math? You don't know it yet, but this is one. Logic, arithmetic, geometry, and really astronomy. So 4 of these 7 liberal arts were mathematics. Anyway, this is the one right here that chapter 3 is about. Just a little background. A name you're going to be hearing about is George Boole. By the way, logic is a fairly recent mathematical study. I know math, goes back to before Christ, but you notice this is only a couple hundred years ago. So pretty new. I mentioned George Boole because whenever you're a good Google searcher, I'm sure we all use Google search. You go there and you type in logic, and you get, like 20 million pages, right? Do you know how you can narrow down your Google search?
Do Boolean searches.
Yeah, you could say logic and mathematics. And guess what that and does? It intersects it, finds where the two overlap. Got it? Remember in the first chapter, and was the word for intersection? And what happens if we would use, what if we said logic or mathematics? What was the operator from chapter 1 that stood for or?
Union.
Right. And so that would make it bigger. So if you did logic, 41 million, let's just say, and then you did logic and mathematics, you're going to cut that way down maybe to, I don't know, 500,000. But if you did logic or mathematics, it's going to be bigger than the original 41 million. Because it's a union, it's joining two, yeah, okay. So anyway, Boole, without him, Google search would be severely limited. So I guess you could say Boole was on Google's staff. Yeah, and do you remember this guy from the first chapter? Remember De Morgan's laws?
My favorite.
This picture, he's going to come into play again. Guess what? De Morgan's laws are going to be coming up again in chapter 3. You're going to see there's really a lot of similarities between chapter 1 sets and, I'm sorry, chapter 2 sets and our current chapter, chapter 3 logic. Okay, so here we go. Here's our first lesson. So you got your little introduction. Now the first lesson in chapter 3, 3.1, chapter 3, lesson 1. And the name of the lesson is statements. By the way, I don't know who it was, but one of you in your notebook didn't have the titles in the table of contents. By the titles, I meant, like this. Instead of just writing 3.1 in your table of contents, it would be better if you could write 3.1 statements. Anyway. Okay, so look at these strange sentences I have here, guys. Today is February 44th, 2006. That's a statement. Well, the ones that are crossed out are not statements. The ones that aren't crossed out, those are statements. You want to make a guess?
Can I just have a quick, oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is this going to be recorded like all the other ones?
Is this going to be what?
Recorded, like if we want to watch it back to take
I
notes, just because
hit
it's
the
hard for me
record
to
button. Yes.
Okay,
Thank
you.
I hit the record button after we finished discussing the test.
Okay, thank you.
So the lesson will be recorded, but not what we talked about the test.
Gotcha, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know, some of you might have missed that, but we still have 3 people who have not taken the test. That's why I did that. Okay. So, does anybody have a guess? The ones that aren't crossed out, those are statements. The ones that are crossed out are not statements.
They're questions.
Questions are out. There's one of those. I shouldn't make you guess. I'll just come out and tell you. If something is definitely true or false, it's a statement. So, today is February 44th, 2006. Obviously, that's false. So that's okay. That's a statement. The second one, the course identifier for this course is MAT 116. That's true. That's a statement. Okay, let's look at the third one down. Like, was that Cindy that made that guess?
The question?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Can a question be called true or false?
No.
No. So that's the real. You're right. Question. That'll never work. You can't say that's true or false. We we don't even have an answer down. Here's another one. What do you think of this one? The weather is wonderful.
An opinion.
The problem is the word wonderful. What in the world is wonderful weather? Now, I know you and I might agree pretty well on that. I thought we had a pretty wonderful day today. But, I mean, some people who live in Siberia, when they come down to the 48 states and they find out, it's 10 below and they say, man, this is warm. What a wonderful day. Wonderful so the problem with this is that word right there. Way too wishy-washy. How about this one? Yeah, that's certainly true, right? 44 plus 44 equals 88.
Yep.
How about open the door? That's not true or false. Sometimes we call that a command. But, I mean, it's not true or false. How about this one?
You can turn the sound on if you want. We can't see down there, Ron. Does it say 1 plus 1 equals 3?
Yes.
Okay, in some universes it's true, but not here.
It's definitely false. So I know this is going to seem strange, but because it's false, it's a statement. So this whole lesson is about sentences that are either for sure true or for sure false. Anything wishy-washy or a question or a command, no, those aren't statements. So as we begin to talk about logic, we're trying to simplify things here. We're going to just stick to statements. Does anybody have a question as to what a statement? How do we determine if something is a statement?
No.
Okay. So what if I tell you I am in Nome, Alaska? Is that a statement?
Yes. If it's true.
It's true?
If it is.
Okay, that would be a tough camping trip for us. No, I'm in Trempealeau, Wisconsin. Maybe you missed that. So if I say to you, I'm in Trempealeau, Wisconsin. Yeah. So if I say to you, I'm in Nome, Alaska, that's clearly false. So it's a statement. Okay. So anything true or false, we got a statement. Okay. All right. Now we're going to look at symbols. On the left, you will see symbols from our sets chapter that we just finished. On the right, you will see symbols from our logic chapter that we're starting. So the first one, remember this, the intersection symbol? You guys have to remember that. We just finished a test. Well, the same symbol in logic, and notice it's similar. It opens down, but instead of opening on a curve, it's just like a tent. So this means the same thing in logic. Okay, it's the word and. Just like this was the word and in sets. Okay? Now, do you remember or was union in the last chapter? Well, here it is in logic. Again, you notice how it's similar? It opens upward, but it comes to a point instead of being curved. Are you guys hearing me? I'm hearing all kinds of sound interference. I'm just making sure. Are you guys hearing me?
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Please.
The sign for logic, for the union and intersection, top and bottom, are they now called conjunction and disjunction?
Well, yes, but more important that you remember and or.
Okay.
So here's what you really want to remember. That when you have that thing opening down, that's and.
Okay.
And when you have it opening up, That's linked up with the word or.
Okay. Ah, we were
So
just talking about the squiggly line yesterday.
yeah, now I just messed this up. Let me undo some things. Yeah, well, you can't see the apostrophe very well here, but right here there's an. Whoops. Let me try that again. I got the wrong pointing tool there. Here we go. That's an apostrophe right there. That meant complement, right? In the sets chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to be using this. That's the negation symbol. It's like half. It's like a negative sign with a little curve in it. Okay. And okay, now we want to talk about. I'm going to introduce this, even though we might not be quite ready. Here we go. So, if I say to you, all of you are asking good questions tonight, what's the negation of that? Okay, what's important for you to remember is when you negate an all, it's just, all it takes is one of you. So, what does it take? If I say all of you ask good questions tonight, for that to be a lie, all it takes is one of you that didn't. So, the negation of all of you asked good questions tonight, the negation would be at least one of you did not ask good questions tonight. Or, let's see. A, E, I, O, and U are all vowels. The negation of that is there's at least one of those letters that is not a vowel. So, what? Well, now we got motorcycle noise and everything here. Kind of interesting. Everybody's out, I guess, trying to impress the opposite sex. But anyway, what the temptation is here, when you say all, to negate it, people want to say none. And that's not correct. To negate an all, you have to just say at least one of them isn't. When you say a some, like if I say some of you are connected with your phone, to negate that, I would have to say none of you are connected with your phone. So here's the one. What?
I'm sorry, can you move the screen up a little bit?
Yes, and I am. Thank you for telling me.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking about that. I appreciate that. By the way, were your pictures in the way?
Yes.
Oh, so I'm not gonna. I can turn those off, but I've had such trouble sharing the screen. You just keep reminding me to scroll like that. So once again, we're going to be doing this more later in other lessons, but a negation of an all statement is at least one is not, and the negation of a some, S-O-M-E statement is none are. So this is the one where I guess you could say we go more hog wild on the negation. When we have an all, we kind of take it easy, I guess, is one way to remember this. Okay, next slide. There are two kinds of ors. And I'm not talking about a boat oar. There's the inclusive or, as in this. To get that scholarship, you either need a GPA of 3 or above, or you can be named by the president. Okay, so what do you think would happen if a person had both a 3.0 GPA and they were named by the president? Well, the end, right? So it's okay to have both. But now here's a new one. And this symbol, by the way, is not in the book. Everybody, that circle with a cross in it is not in the book. So make sure you write that down. That's called an exclusive or. Example an exclusive or. Sally's new baby is a boy. You know, so, or somebody could say, oh, here, let me use a different example. You're watching a football game, and somebody has to leave the room to do something. They come back, and they say, well, did the guy make the field goal, or didn't he? Well, it can't be both, right? You cannot make a field goal and at the same time miss a field goal. So my point is, this or up on the top, it's okay to have both. The one on the bottom is not. It must be one or the other. Okay? So this is the first time we've had two different kinds of ors. Inclusive, it's okay to have both. Exclusive, nope, it's got to be one or the other. Here's another example. You're at a drawing, and they pick your name, and they say, okay, you won, so you can pick one of these two prizes. So you can't say, oh, I want both. Because of the rules, you're only allowed one or the other. That's an exclusive or. You can't have both. Okay?
Okay.
I'm hearing all kinds of echoes. So this top part you don't have to look at. We've done that already, right? I've shown you the comparison between sets and logic symbols. But let's look at De Morgan's laws. Above the dotted line, we did those in the last chapter, right?
Yes.
Those should look familiar. Well, here's the version for De Morgan's laws in chapter 3. You'll notice they're actually the same, except we have the new symbols. So A intersect B is now written A and B. And complement, the same thing is this negation. Notice the difference. Complement went at the end, negation goes in the beginning. But do you notice the same thing happened? You negate each one of the letters, but you invert the symbol. It's the same law, they're the same laws, and they work in chapter 3. They're going to be big in this chapter. So, good news. This is not something totally new. What you do have to adjust to is the new symbols. Okay, and then just a quick practice. Here's an example of a negation. By the way, we use letters for statements. So statement A might be the book is read. Then not A would simply be the book is not read. Okay, that's pretty obvious. So let's try some negation. So here's a first one we're going to practice. Statement, Bill's store is making a good profit. What's the negation? I'll wait for somebody on this one.
Repeat the question.
That good profit, that good.
Yeah, you can. That's true. That's not very clear, but just assume it's a statement, okay?
It's making it.
If this is, what would the negation be?
The store is making a good profit.
That's what the statement is. So the negation would be Bill's store is not making a good profit.
So is the negation mean that it's the opposite of?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay, try this one. Try this one. Let's say this is the statement. Your cat is not Siamese. What do you think the negation is?
Your cat is Siamese.
Yep. How about this one? Now be careful. This first SON. Some women are teachers.
It could be some men are or some women are not.
Well, yeah, actually, it already is some women are not. That's what that kind of means. Some women are, so then some must not be. But what the negation of a some is, all are not. So in
Uh,
other words, no women are teachers. So this is the one we want to act strong on. When you negate a some, you say, oh no, none of them. Okay, now here's a none. Okay, nobody, in effect, none of you does not like Sarah Lee. I got to scroll. What's the negation of that? What's the negation of no one likes Sarah Lee? No one does not like Sarah Lee.
Everyone likes Sarah Lee.
That's tempting, but the negation of an all, this is in effect saying all people do not like Sarah Lee. The negation is at least, I'm sorry, all people do like Sarah Lee. The negation would say, oh, there's at least one person that does not. So here, let me go back.
Oh.
Okay, do you remember this slide where I said the negation of an all is at least one is not? These are the two we just practiced in 36 and 37. Now let's go back there. I mean 36 and 40. By the way, these are right out of the book. They're problems in first assignment. Okay, you'll get used to that. How about 47? All persons occupying your covered auto are insured. What's the opposite of all are covered?
At least one is not.
That is correct. Good. And no, you can't see that, but I can't scroll anymore. Yes, you were right, Cindy.
Thank you.
Okay, De Morgan's laws, we've already done them. I'm not going to do them again.
So what is the assignment? That's not the assignment.
No, we're getting there.
I was
getting.
confused.
I haven't given it yet, but I have two more things to do you. Okay? Look at this statement. Well, is it a statement? This statement is false.
Yes.
This is really weird, isn't it? Because if it's false, then it's true, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it's true, then it's false. So this thing kind of disagrees with itself. Do you see that? That's called a paradox. So this is not a statement. I maybe shouldn't have used that word, but anyway, something disagrees with itself. It's like what, mental? I mean, that's a paradox. And by the way, the joke on campus is if you walk down our classroom hall, you'll also see a paradox. There's Doc Frisky and Doc Meyer. Ha ha, paradox. Okay.
So when something disagrees with itself, it's a paradox?
Yes.
Thank you.
Roll up. And I got one more weird one for you. Check this one out. Okay, there are two statements here. The top one says, the statement below is true. And the bottom one says, the statement above is false. Well, if the one above is false, then the statement below is not true. But if the statement below is not true, so this is a contradiction too, but this time it's not a paradox because instead of one statement disagreeing with itself, it's two statements that can't live with each other, and that is called a contradiction. Well,
Can you give me that? Can you just say the definition one more time? Two statements, what?
Yeah, two statements that disagree with each other.
Okay. Thank you.
Instead of just one that disagrees with itself, which was a paradox, when two disagree with each other, that's the contradiction. You know, like a little kid who comes to Dad and says, "Dad, can I go out and play now?" And Dad says, "Yes." The kid goes out. Mom comes to the door. "Willie, what are you doing outside? I knew you couldn't go out and play." "Well, Daddy said I could." You know, you got two contradicting statements. Let's see. I got to get my book. You're going to see that this is problem 9. And problem 9, they give you a statement and they say write it in symbols. So I don't know if you can take a look at it, but I'm trying to page to my book right now. Almost there. I got the wind to deal with too. Okay, it starts on page 114. Anyway, number 9, the directions say, in problems 9 to 16, write each statement in symbolic form using the indicated letters. So number 9 says, this is April, A, and income tax returns must be filed, F. So the way to write this is really A and F. So you notice we use the abbreviations, and we simply use the symbol for and. Oh, that's pretty easy, but you need to do, here's number 10. Number 10, logic is required subject for lawyers are for most engineers, not E. By the way, the word but,
But is not.
anytime you see but, that's the same, that's really equivalent to word and.
Oh, but and.
You know, I know but has a little bit more in it, like a kind of a bit of contrast. But logically, you can just replace, anytime you see a but, replace it with an and. That's why you see an and here. So R and not E. Not in, not E. Okay. And then 26, they do the opposite. They give you the symbols and have you translate it back into words. So let's look at that one, number 26. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, it just says yeah, it's a sentence. It says it's a long time before the end of the term, and you're supposed to negate that. Oh, it's not a long time before the end of the term. So your answer would look like that. One more we'll look at, number 52. Here it's the directions say, write the statement in symbolic form. So 52 says, you are legally married, M, or divorced, D, and currently enrolled, E. So you're married or you're divorced, that's pretty clear, M or D.
Are you able to scroll the screen up?
Yes, thank you for the reminder.
Sure.
Thanks. Now, here's the part you're wondering about. Where did I come up with these guys?
Oh.
Well, it's just kind of implied. You are married or divorced and enrolled. You see how the married or divorced just kind of go together there?
Yes.
Not real important, but that's a little tricky. You got to kind of read between the lines and, yeah. Okay, now let's get to the real assignment, guys. Oh, you may not be able to see that, but I can't scroll anymore. So I'll read it to you. So it's on pages 114 and 115. And it's 1 to 51 odd problems. 1 to 51, the odd numbered problems. Were you able to make that? Did everybody get the assignment?
Yes.
Okay, good. Any questions? So for next time then, I mean, I'll still take a couple more test questions, but I think we should have covered the major ones, at least for you four that were here tonight. Right? We have 4. Or do we have 5?
5.
For you 5, thank you. I can't see the pictures like you guys can right now, so it's because of this porch outside setup.
It's okay.
Anyway, we really only have one assignment due next time, so that's nice. I know we only have a few days, but one assignment, 3.1. Okay, does anybody have anything you want to talk about before we hang this up?
I don't.
No, I'm good.
See you Thursday.
How did we come out? Almost exactly an hour. Oh, yeah, we'll see all of you Thursday. Thank you very much for putting up with this kind of a weird connection here. And
Nope.
I look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday.
Have fun camping.
Thanks, Ron.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.